Netherlands is famous for housing the beautiful canals, vast fields of tulip, windmills and never-ending picturesque cycling routes. Through the many hundred centuries of existence of this country, several prominent and stunning churches have been built throughout the many towns and cities in Netherlands. Will you remember to subscribe for upcoming church videos, please? The Basilica of Saint Servatius is a Roman Catholic church dedicated to Saint Servatius in the city of Maastricht, the Netherlands. The architecturally hybrid, but mainly Romanesque church is situated next to the Gothic Church of St. John, backing onto the town's main square, Vrijthof. The present-day church is probably the fourth church that was built on the site of the grave of Saint Servatius, an Armenian missionary who was Bishop of Tongeren and died allegedly in 384 in Maastricht. A small memorial chapel on the saint's grave was replaced by a large stone church built by Bishop Monulf around 570. This church was replaced by a larger pilgrim church in the late 7th century, which was then replaced by the present-day structure, which was built in several stages over a period of more than 100 years. The nave was built in the first half of the 11th century, the transept in the second half of the century, and the choir and westwork in the 12th century. The Romanesque church was built during a period in which the chapter of Saint Servatius kept close ties to the Holy Roman Emperors, which resulted in a building that has the characteristics of a German imperial church. The dedication of the church in 1039 was attended by the Emperor Henry III and 12 bishops. Most of the church's medieval provosts were sons of the highest-ranking German noble families. Several held the office of Chancellor of the German Empire. At least 8 provosts went on to become archbishops. Between 1866 and 1900, the church underwent major restorations, during which some of the damage done earlier in the century was reversed. The restoration was led by famous Dutch architect Pierre Cuypers. In 1955, a fire caused Cuypers' Gothic Revival westwork spire to fall through the roof of the church, which made another thorough restoration necessary. During this latter restoration, Cuypers' colorful interior decoration scheme was largely removed. During this most recent restoration, extensive excavations that were carried out in the church and adjacent buildings revealed a wealth of information about the history of the church and its predecessors. Through the ages, the presence of the grave of Saint Servatius in the church crypt and the many relics in the church treasury have drawn large numbers of pilgrims. Starting in the 14th century, a 7-yearly pilgrimage was organized in cooperation with nearby Aachen Cathedral and Korneliminster Abbey, attracting tens of thousands of visitors to the region. This pilgrimage of the relics continued until 1632, when Maastricht became affiliated with the Dutch Republic. The pilgrimage of the relics was revived in the 19th century, and the tradition continues in our days. Today, the Basilica of Saint Servatius is the main church of the Deanery of Maastricht, which belongs to the Diocese of Roermond. The church continues to be a center of Catholicism in Maastricht. The church was made a basilica minor by Pope John Paul II during his visit in 1985. Although the present building conveys a rather hybrid image of architectural styles, the Church of Saint Servatius is considered to be one of the most important religious buildings in the former Prince-Bishopric of Liege. Both the east choir and the westwork of the Maastricht church have been influential in the development of Romanesque architecture in the Meuse and Rhine valleys. Several authors have pointed out the significance of the south portal's late Romanesque sculpture for the early development of Gothic sculpture in France. Both the exterior of the east choir and the interior of the westwork of Saint Servatius contain architectural sculpture that is considered amongst the most interesting in the Mosen region. The 34 elaborately carved capitals in the westwork depict scenes from books well known to the canons, such as St. Augustine's De Civitate Dei and various bestiaries. Recurrent themes are botanical ornaments, animals, humans fighting with animals, humans entangled in plants, and humans engaged in daily activities. A close relationship has been established by art historians between the Maastricht Westwerk capitals and those of the East Choir of Our Ladies in Maastricht, the Rolduc Crypt, the Dwarf Gallery of the Doppelkirche Schwarzheindorf, and the Wartburg Palace. Since the donation of a silver reliquary, in the shape of a Roman triumphal arch by Charlemagne's biographer Einhard in c. 830, the church has acquired many treasures, most of which are now kept in the treasury. Amongst the highlights are the reliquary shrine and the reliquary bust of Saint Servatius, the key, the cup, the crozier and the pectoral cross of Saint Servatius, a large patriarchal cross, and many other reliquaries and liturgical vessels, as well as an important collection of medieval ivories and textiles. Thank you for your interest in these wonderful and sacred marvels. I will be waiting for your next visit to our next church video. Till then, take care and be blessed. Ciao.